Good afternoon and welcome back to the West Ham Network. This is your David Moyes, Leeds United Premier League press conference. The Moyes presser, as it says there, in the machine right behind me. David Moyes has been a busy man today talking about the Leeds United game. Of course, we played them last weekend when we played them in the FA Cup, and now it's the Premier League time, and it may be a different game because players are maybe coming back from fitness tests, maybe coming back from COVID. And we know that the Leeds United team has been hit by a lot of injuries and a mixture of COVID mixed in with that. But some players are back for them. And it's the same really for West Ham. And it's the same really for any team in the Premier League because COVID is, chopping and changing things as each day goes along. So we don't really know who's going to be available. You may hear something from the news conference and that can change the next day. So it is a kind of moving, map and moving set piece, and things can change as each day goes along. But we'll go with what David Moyes says as well when we go through the press conference. If you are new around here, though, please make sure you go and subscribe to the channel. We're on the march to 11,000 subscribers. Please hit that bell notification, which is sitting right there. If you do that bell notification, that will notify you when we have a show. It will give you about half an hour's notice to when we are going to do a show. And normally we are on time. Well, some of us, not all of us, Mr. Stelios. But yeah, like I said, thank you very much for joining us. I hope you're well. I'm going to jump into the chat, see who's kicking about before I get started on the presser. Frank Butcher saying Bowen for, and I'm assuming that's the England flag because Bowen is on fire. And why did YouTube censor your England flag emoji? I have no idea, mate. And Tom Russell is agreeing with you. He's saying he does not know why either. Gaza, hi Frank, hi Tom. At least Algeria can still spam the chat. Hello, mate. Belcart is saying Zuma. 3 questions. If anyone has answers, please say. Tottenham Arsenal, win or draw is best for West Ham, and what are we hoping for? A draw, as Gaza has rightly so said. 2 and 3 are Xhaka and Gabriel available for Arsenal. I am not that bothered, if I'm being honest with you, Belcar, to be honest, because this is West Ham channel. So we will talk about West Ham. Gaza, hi, Anton, you okay? I am, mate. Thank you very much for joining us. Black Country Hammer is in the building. Hope you are well also. Thunder and Joy. Hammers Gang, good to see you, mate. Hope you're well. Fremer is saying hi, people. John Osborne, afternoon. Good to see you. Afternoon, all lovely Hammers. All except Stell. And good thanks from Gaza. Irish Tommy, good to see you, mate. Thanks for coming on the other night as well. It's good to speak to you again. Afternoon, all from Marcus. Hope you're well. Grant, good to see you too. Hi, West Ham family. Good vibes from Simon Rogers. Gaza is saying that. John Osborne is saying Stell's like Beyonce, turns up when he likes. Hashtag diva. Nailed on the head. Hi, Anton. Hi, everyone. Hi, Joan. Hope you're well. Good to see you. Nice to see you all talking to each other. Adam Cook. Hi, all. James Farmer. Let's put the pressure on the others fighting for 4th place. 1,000,000 gazillion %. Jeff Jib is in now saying afternoon all. It's Friday, and it is, and it's a good feeling. And we've got the Premier League back this weekend. And fingers crossed we can go and get another result. That would be good. Mo Salah to the Hammers. Yeah, for about 400k a week, apparently, or whatever the rumor is that he's looking for. Hi, John, you okay? All these are talking to each other, which is really nice to see. So let me get started on the press conference. And first thing he talks about today is the current form. He says, I'm really pleased with how the players have performed. We're getting closer to how we performed at the start of the season. So long may that continue. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, we hit that bit of a blip and the fan base panicked. I'm not saying everyone in here panicked, but you did see a lot of people, especially on social media, panicking about that blip. But, as all good transition, as all good things that take place, they say Rome wasn't built in a day. West Ham, in my opinion, are really going through that transition. And that transition we are currently in the middle of. And when you do these things like transitions and building something, you're always going to come up against a couple of curveballs. And we've received those curveballs and still are receiving those curveballs. And it's how you react. And it's how the team reacts and doesn't let it affect you. Now, if you think about that, we were having that blip. And since that blip, we've gone on to win 4 games in a row, 3 in the Premier League and 1 in the FA Cup. That's how you react. And that, for me, is a David Moyes side. That David Moyes side, that's what he's doing at this club. It's how you react. It's about how you get over that next step. How do you get over that barrier? How do you get over that negativity? Well, you get over that negativity by bouncing back and winning and getting results on the table, and that's huge. And this is what makes, again, this weekend's game another vital game for West Ham. How vital is this game? You know, people talk about clubs like Arsenal and Tottenham have games in hand. They play each other this weekend. But I would rather, by a million miles, have the points in the table than I would in having games in hand. It's the same when you talk about transfer fees. I always refer back to the time when we had Rio Ferdinand and Leeds United bid £18 million at the time. We sold Rio Ferdinand to them, and it was who we bought in that wasn't quality. And for me, at the time, you would have rather have kept Rio Ferdinand and built the team in and around him. That's why it's the same kind of mindset as well. So he goes on, though, and talks about team news, and this is a really important part. He says, when you play Sunday, Wednesday, Sunday, you're always liable to pick up injuries with the schedule. We have one or two knocks that we need to assess. Kurt is on his way back and has started back in training, but all the clubs have got situations, whether it's injuries or COVID, and we have to deal with it as best we can. Kurt is on his way back and doing well in training, and he is another who's gone down with the virus. I don't want to be specific on who's got COVID and who has injuries, but you're right. We have Thomas Soucek and Mark Noble out on Wednesday, but we're hopeful we might get one of them back. We've also had some other players who have had COVID. Like all the clubs, we have injuries and COVID and are trying to work through it. Now, the interesting thing here is Zuma is back, but is out again because he has picked up the virus. So now, the other thing we have to take into consideration here is, when do these players and when did they catch the virus, and what rules are the clubs following? Because my understanding is, if Tommy Soucek picked up the virus, which is what we're led to believe, and West Ham played Leeds last Sunday and Tommy Soucek played in that game, it was the day after, in my opinion, he's picked up that virus. So that would rule him out, because he wouldn't be, if you go by the old rules of 7 days, he would be ruled out for this Sunday's game. Now, if the club have decided, and unless the government rules have changed, and I'm not too sure, and I know they've changed down to 5 days isolation, but usually they state that happens as it happened with immediate effect. So can the club then, as long as he can produce 2 negative lateral flows, does that make Tommy Soucek available? So my understanding would be that Kurt Zouma misses the game at the weekend, and Tommy Soucek is a potential to come back. Now, we are hearing through the grapevine that Mark Noble has picked up a bit of a longer-term injury. I don't believe it is COVID. I believe there is something wrong with his knee, and he could be out for up to a month. So when he says we're due to get one or the other back, I think he's referencing Tommy Soucek. I don't think Tommy Soucek's picked up an injury. It looks like it's just COVID, and it's just now a case of whether he comes back in time for the game against Leeds at the weekend. So let me jump in here to the chat and see what everyone's saying about that. The Twitter fans always panic. It's set in stone. You are right. Frank Butcher is saying the Twitter arty 1,000,000%. Hi, Fremer. Hope you're well. Freno P, I emailed you back. Did you get my email? Please let me know if you did. I know you emailed us, so please let me know if you did get that. Please, mate. It would be cool. I've not checked the emails since I've sent you that email, so you may have emailed me back and I've not got it. If every player, including the youth, excluding Mass and Yarma, signed a new deal, it would be a good one. There you go, mate. It would be. Hi, James. Hope you're well. Selling Frank and Rio, especially summed up West Ham under Terry Brown and the old cartel. They did, mate. They did. But at the time, when you think back to Rio Ferdinand's sale, Rigobert Song was brought him in. TT Kamara came in. I thought it was Hayden Fox, but I've been told it maybe wasn't Hayden Fox during that kind of spell of players coming in with the 18 million that we received from Leeds. But look how Rigobert Song and TT Kamara turned out for West Ham. Not so well. They have the spine like an earthworm. Lose one game, they're Moyes out. Yes, you're right, mate. Hi, Gaza, mate. How long before Conte leaves the Spuds? I agree. Grant's selling me, and it was a bad decision. Yeah, we had that blip, and now we've been showing consistency again, and that's everything that he wants to say. That's everything that he wants to do. That's everything that Moyes has been saying to this team is consistency, keeping the motivation up, and that's the key factor to how clubs can obviously move on and become successful and keep getting successful and growing as a team. So from what we understand, players that we definitely know that that probably are out. Not definitely. I don't never want to say that because I don't know what the rules and regulations are and what the clubs and when they picked up the virus and do they follow the old rules of isolation or the new rules of isolation. But we're led to believe that Zouma will miss the game at the weekend, not through injury, through COVID. I think he was potentially in line to be potentially available, but I don't think he is unless something changes. Let me reiterate, unless something changes and they follow different rules. But I think he's picked up the virus that rules him out for this game. Tommy Soucek has been ruled out from COVID from the midweek game against Norwich, and we think he picked up after the Leeds game he played at the weekend. But we're not too sure if the club are following the 5-day isolation rules or the 7-day isolation rules. If they follow the 7-day isolation rules, he won't be out of isolation until at least Monday. So with 2 negative lateral flow tests. And we're led to believe that Mark Noble has also picked up a bit of an injury as well. So there you go. There's your update on some team news. He then goes on to talk about the man of the moment, and that is Jarrod Bowen. He has got used to being a Premier League player. He's settled in well, but he's had the time to settle into this level. He's maturing. He's got goals and assists, and we're always pushing him on demanding more. I do think he can push on again. He's doing well, and I hope he might find himself getting England recognition, but the competition for that is strong, so he will need to keep playing well. Now, absolutely, completely agree with Moyes' sentiment. He absolutely deserves England recognition. I'm not going to lie to you, there's always a bit behind in the back burner, because it's West Ham, club over country, all that sort of stuff. And you always worry when you hear about a West Ham player going off on international duty because you just don't want the rhythm to stop. These players potentially get injured or pick up an injury at international duty, but it comes with the nature of the job. But there's no ifs or buts about it. Jarrod Bowen's stats are just phenomenal. What he does in games, I mean, he could have had upwards of 5 or 6 goals against Norwich at the weekend. His goals, contributions is ridiculous. His stats per game are ridiculous. His stats for the season are ridiculous. The guy's just getting better and better every single game. He's becoming such a important player for West Ham, but massive player in the Premier League in England. It is strong competition, but I mean, look at if you're a statistician, look at them. I mean, you're going to struggle to find anyone better than him right now, to be honest. He then goes on and talks about Mr. Declan Rice. In the last 2 years, he has stepped up his leadership, his playing. He is an England player, and he's done so well for the national team. There are bits he can add to, and we're at him to keep improving. Captaining West Ham is a big deal when you look at the players who have captained this club. He has a role model to look up to in Mark Noble, and we hope he can keep carrying it and keep on improving. Now, you're talking about a player in Declan Rice who is captaining and leading from the front. Now, I'm hoping the image is here. Maybe it's not. Sorry, apologies for that. I thought it would be there. I was going to show you an image, but I don't think it's. I thought it was there. I'm disappointed. Disappointed from DJ Russie B. He had the heat map, and it's not there anymore. You need to see the heat map from Declan Rice for the season. It's ridiculous. He is everywhere all the time, and all the work rate he does is huge. It is massive. Such an important player to the club. Let me jump in here and see what everyone is saying. Bowen in his prime at 24. Absolutely. He obviously likes an older woman because that's a year older. Time for Krall to be given a go if that's the case. Don't know, because Lanzini done really well sitting in that deep line position. Really well. And Fornals played really well in the hole, and that was exciting and good to see. So I don't know, mate. I don't know, because it's starting to look like does he fancy him? I don't know. Maybe he doesn't. But maybe Krall was happy to bide his time and be there and be in that role. Anton, mate, I'm worried if Bowen continues his current rich vein of form, top 4 will sniff around him, and Decca's in the summer. Frank, of course they will. Why wouldn't they? I don't think it's just them two. They would be sniffing around. I think they'd be sniffing around other players as well. But why, in a progressing team at the age that they are at, would they leave right now when things are going the way that they are? And as long as they keep going at the way that they are, I don't know why they would. They would leave, to be honest. I really don't know why. Martin Barrett, Russ does love his heat maps. He does, mate. He certainly does. Right, let's get on to the nitty-gritty. Transfers. Moyes says on the transfers, I like to bring new faces in. We'll try and do it, but the ones we're looking at are either not available or we can't get. We'll keep trying. West Ham is an appealing club, and the job is to keep that going and try to add to it. And I'm really keen to add to it. And the board are as well. They're very supportive. It's just about identifying the right players. Hopefully, something will appear for us in the next 2 weeks. I think this is a key statement that he's made there. I'd like to bring new faces in. We'll try and do it, but the ones we're looking at are either not available or we can't get. And I wonder if that's his first recognition on the Jesse Lingard situation as well, because there's no ifs or buts about it. We know Moyes is interested in him, and maybe that is him trying to subtly say to us, listen, we want him, but we can't get him. Simple as that. And maybe we do need to move on. You hear a lot of people saying, what's Rob Newman doing? What's West Ham doing? What's Moyes doing? What's the board doing? I've got the faith. I know we want early business. I get it. I know he would want early business. But right now, the squad is playing well. We do need to strengthen this squad, absolutely. But we have to keep the faith in Moyes, because look where we are. I can't keep saying it enough. I don't know how people can be negative about the situation, because there's nothing to be negative about. I can't see why. I'm going to jump into the chat again. Epic hashtag Crawl is garbage. I don't think we've seen enough of him, to be fair. If Southgate keeps his word, Bowen should be in the next England squad, and there isn't a player in better form than him. Absolutely. Hi, Epic. Epic hashtag. The fact that the geezer doesn't even get subbed in the last minute paints a picture. My heat map for today shows a lot of movement between the bar, the toilet, and my living room. Yeah, when Bowen first came here, he was the first to be subbed. Yeah, but I think there was an element of high work rate and just trying to switch it up. You know, I know he offers something right to the death, but he's really created himself, you know, made him name one of the first on the team sheet, 100% every single time. Kroll doesn't look that bad in the brief chances he's had. I thought his fitness was the problem. We'll have to wait and see. We will have to wait and see. So Moyes on transfers, like I said, he says that players are not available or we can't get them, but they're going to keep trying. He says we're an appealing club. The job is to keep that going and try to add to it. And I'm really keen to add to it. He says the board are supportive of him as well, and it's just about identifying the right players. Hopefully something will appear for us in the next 2 weeks, and fingers crossed it does. He again goes on to talk about postponements. He says we all know that it's a difficult period. Yes, sometimes we need to know exactly the numbers, but the Premier League are the people who have that, and we have to trust that they're doing things correctly. The league have to do what is right, and they deem the teams who have COVID, and that is that. We only had it once this season with the Norwich game, but it might happen to us, and I have to call the Premier League. Now, again, I've seen a game today. I think Burnley-Leicester is postponed again, so I don't know really what's going on there. You're hearing loads of rumours there about the clubs are potentially ripping the piss out of the situation, to be honest, and I wouldn't be surprised if they are. But I kind of feel right now that you want the games on the board, but have to trust what Moyes wants. And right now he seems to be kind of happy. A bit annoyed that we were first up against Norwich, but at the end of the day, we won the game. We got the 3 points, and that's what is important as well. Zuma, DJ Russie B. I love a heat map. Mine will be showing a heat spot at the kebab shop tonight. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Matt West Ham is saying Zuma. Love that. Love it. Fran Butcher saying if I was Moyes, I'd play Crawl in the FA Cup and Europa League against lesser quality opposition. Yeah, but I thought he would have by now, to be honest. Kidderminster, we might see a run out, so you never know. Keep an eye on them for there. Blackcurrant Jim, I wonder if Bowen is one of the players to sign a new contract. How good would that be? What a nice announcement that would be as well, because obviously we know that Moyes has been working behind the scenes and players have signed a contract as well. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm fine with us not getting Digne, to be honest, but we have to find some players somewhere. Fremer, I agree with you 100%. I thought he would be a good signing, but I certainly wasn't going to pay the wages that Aston Villa have been willing to pay, which is upwards of 120 plus K a week, plus the £25 million fee. I've got to be honest with you. Again, I've got to trust what Moyes is doing there. He's not going to pay over the odds for a player. He's clearly stated that. Russ, you got a heat map from Burnley pulled a blinder when they lost Wood and can postpone until they get someone in. Newcastle will be spitting sand. Absolutely, mate. And I've seen that they're linked to Andy Carroll today. Burnley are linked to Andy Carroll. Yes, you heard it here first. However, did you see Andy Carroll's 2 goals that were disallowed for Reading in the week? Wow. 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 But they were disallowed, to be fair, so there's no wow about it. Fourth with the injuries we have is pretty impressive in my opinion from Rob's projector wall. 100%, and there you go, Gaza, you're confirming that as well. I think we're going to sign someone last week of the window. I'm not putting to bed the Jesse Lingard situation. He might not think it now, but I think come near the end, West Ham, if it keeps going on and it's going to be this saga, you never know, it could be a transfer deadline day decision as well. James Bond, good afternoon, chaps. The quadruple is still on. It is, mate, 100 million gazillion percent. Moyes on scheduling. We're focused on the game now. We're moving on. We just come out in a really busy schedule. We've had no games off, but for some reason we're pushed into the first. That's the one I've done before. He goes on and talks about Leeds United again. He says, I think Leeds United will be fine. We expect them to have one or two players back by the time the game comes round. They're a really good side and difficult to play against. Everyone knows about their energy, and we've had some tough games against them over the last year or so, and we will talk about them when we go on the preview, which will be tomorrow evening at 9 o'clock. But we have to respect the fact that Leeds were decimated from injuries and COVID, and they were on the cusp of having players coming back, and we fully expect them to have more and a lot more players coming back for the game on Sunday, and that's going to make the whole situation a lot more interesting. So West Ham just need to turn up, do the job, get the points on the board, and we can move on from it. But it's not going to be as potentially, I'm not going to say it was easy in the FA Cup, but it's going to be tougher opposition. It's going to be a tougher Leeds team that we're going to face, and we just need to be ready to do that. And that's where the work rate is going to kick in. Rafinha could start, Dan James will start, Bamford could start, and that is a different Leeds side from the one that we absolutely saw as well. Good afternoon, chaps. Quadruple still on. Frank Butcher, the best two disallowed goals ever, mate. I'm not even joking. It was ridiculous. Absolutely. David is saying we'd prefer the left back from Stuttgart, Sosa or Hickey, both younger and cheaper than Digne with a higher ceiling, 100%. Who is Andy Carroll? Never heard of him, mate. Don't know who you're talking to. Fresh Fielder, good to see you, mate. How are you? Hope you're well. Was that? I don't know what that is. Is that? I'd love us to get Nick Sewell in defence, but we probably won't. I just think for me now, that's the end of the press conference. But when it comes to transfers, I said, he wants players in. We need players in. If we want to progress, we need to get some strength and depth. He has stated he wants cover in the defensive area, even with Zuma coming back because of Ogbonna's long-term injury, and I don't doubt for a second we will. We may test Burnley's resolve when it comes to Tarkowski, because if he doesn't sign a new deal, he's leaving in the summer, and we may tempt them out with something like £10 million, and they may do it as well. We still might be after Jesse Lingard, and I think we probably are, and we may wait to the window. I mean, would you accept two signings, a Jesse Lingard and a Tarkowski? Because we have to be mindful of the fact that it is the January window, and no one really goes and finds all of their solutions, in one window, especially in a January transfer window. So it will be interesting. But I wouldn't be surprised if we started to try and test Burnley's resolve when it comes to Tarkowski. To be honest, I really wouldn't be surprised, because they're potentially going to want some money for him if he's not going to sign that contract. And the rumours are that his wife's happy for him to move down south. Then you never know. You never know. And we know what kind of quality of a defender he can be as well. Love it when you all talk to each other. It's really cool. Tarkowski is a good shout, Anton. I think it is as well, but we've had dialogue with Burnley before in the past. The owners have said we've been interested in him. Moyes likes him. We know what he's capable of doing. David is saying Tarkowski is not for me. Need a left-sided centre back. Would love a cheeky loan for Ake. I just don't know if Man City. Why would he need to leave Man City? Why would Man City need to sell him as well? Is Tarkowski late 20s? I think he actually is, mate. But I know there's this kind of mindset about young players, but when your player, I think, in my opinion, who we've shown a key interest in before, comes up with Premier League experience like him, with, I don't want to say it, but, with, let me see how old he is. Let me see now. It's coming to me. God, it makes me feel old. Yeah, he's 29. I just wouldn't be surprised if we were to make an offer him. I think he would do it. I think he would do a grand job, to be honest, in my opinion. But he is 29, yeah. Moyes is keeping all the transfer interest on lockdown. So much speculation. Let's just hope things are happening behind the scenes. We really do need to make signings. And this is what I want to say to you guys as well, who watch our channel. We have, I personally, and I think Russ and I think Still do say it as well, we're not ITKs. We're led to believe. We hear things. We report on reports. But what we try and do is maybe look at the player and see what they can offer, and would it be a realistic target or not? So if we're doing a video on Tarkowski, Digne, Traore. It's because we've been linked to them, but we're looking to see, well, would they fit into the current setup in the current squad? Yes or no? And then you look at the realistic opinion on, do you think we'll sign them? Yes or no? And that's what makes it a little bit more interesting as well. If we don't get a striker, get any striker, could we see Okaflex pushing through the first team? Well, if Antonio keeps doing what he's doing, I don't think he will. I mean, if Russ didn't bloody well delete those heat maps, I could have showed you again the amount of work rate that Antonio does as well. 29, I think he is. Re-signed Tonks. I've seen loads of people doing that, talking about that from Crystal Palace. Shane Okaflex didn't get the last couple of minutes against Norwich, wasted time bringing him on Yarmo. Okay, should have been given some minutes. Agree all the way, mate. Anthos is saying, "Hi all, just annoying we don't get anything done quickly in the transfer window. It's a good job Sullivan and Gold love West Ham, or else we'd be in trouble if our owners didn't love us." But the thing is, Anthos, that I don't doubt for a second that we're trying, but I don't think we're not panicking. Like, for example, I've heard people say, why do we not go for a Coutinho? Well, look at the money that they're paying, and maybe he just doesn't fit our style. And Aston Villa are throwing money at players right now, and that West Ham aren't wanting to do that kind of business. And we've just got to trust in the building process of what David Moyes is doing. We'd be nice if we could get someone in at the back of some pace. Absolutely. Adam Cook, disappointed Okaflex didn't get some minutes against Norwich. DJ Rossi B saying not going to get Tarkowski now. They've sold Woods, not going to F themselves up top and defence. Well, to be honest with you, Rossi B, I think one of the reasons, obviously there was the clause was met for them, but I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, selling your prized asset up top and potentially replacing them with Andy Carroll, Tarkowski has no choice in the matter. He can push through a move, or they get no money. Simple. Like, he's not, if he doesn't want to sign a contract. But I don't think Burnley are in a situation to knock back a £10 million bid for a player in the summer that's going to leave for nothing. So I think he's coming on. Is he coming on? No, he's not. He's going to put some stuff in there for me. Oh, there we go. Heat maps on a cloud. Backup. Well, no, they are. I think can I put it on now? Yeah. Right. I'm going to bring on some heat maps for you. I know Russ has gone through them as well. So this is Lanzini's heat map, but I want to jump through and show you Bowen's. I mean, that's a ridiculous heat map. Look at that. Look at the amount of tracking back the lad does. It's crazy, the work rate that he does, and no wonder he comes out with the plaudits that he does. He gets, it's not Fornals, Declan Rice, that's who we were talking about there. You know, look at that. He is everywhere, every bloody where. I'm trying to remember the point of me bringing these heat maps up. I've now totally forgotten the point of bringing them up. I'm waiting on the private chat saying it to me to remind me. Antonio, I think it's Antonio. The work rate that he does, and people always go on about, you know, oh, he's not scoring the goals, he's not getting the assists. Look at that. Look exactly what he does. Look at the amount of ground. Look at the thing is, when you watch him in games, he's pulling players out wide. He's allowing some of our midfielders to get through in space through the middle, and it offers us so much as a team. And this is why David Moyes is going to be looking at a particular striker and not going to jump the gun for other strikers that are out there that we think would work in our system. Because I'm telling you right now, Sebastian Haller heat map is not like that. Yes, Sebastian Haller is playing Champions League football, and yes, Sebastian Haller is scoring goals for fun for Ajax, but he was with West Ham and he didn't do the work rate that Antonio is doing there, unless Russ is about to put a heat map up and it's going to prove me wrong with Sebastian Haller, which I hope he's not. I bet he is, but it's mental. But we have to give credit where credit's due on the Antonio heat map. Now, let me have a look here and see what everyone else is saying while something else is off. Yes, Freshfield have reported that Burnley and Leicester is off. What's happening with Jesse Lingard? I mean, listen, David Moyes has said in his press conference, we're after players, but we can't get the ones that we want, or some aren't available. He's not said names. He's not going to say names, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was one of those players that potentially wasn't available. But let's be honest, when we signed Jesse Lingard, he wasn't available at the start of that window, and he became available come the end of the window. So that could still happen. I am just not putting that one to bed yet. I'm not ready to commit to Jesse Lingard not coming to West Ham until the window is done. We're just so stingy, Anton. Every offer for a player is a joke. Yeah, but Anthos, the thing is, what actual offers do we categorically know have gone in for players? That's the thing. That's the thing. There's no point in us sitting here and thinking he's going to bid for every single player we're linked to, because he's not. we're not going to do that, so we're not going to pay over the odds for it as well. Robert Singleton, only 4 to 5 Premier League clubs have bought in this window so far. Yep, you're right, mate. David is saying they'll happily give up £10 million for Tarkowski if he keeps them up. Yes, but is that not? I mean, I get the release clause has been met. I get it for Chris Wood. However, you've just sold your double-digit striker, and you've got no one else who's scoring double digits and hasn't done for 4 or 5 seasons, which is what Chris Wood has done. In theory, you could turn around and say they've given up the league already. It's a bold statement, but when you listen to Burnley fans talking about it as well, they are saying the same. Black Country Hammer, Burnley going down. I completely concur with that. I think that was a big decision that they had to do, but they had no choice in the matter because the clause was met. Lingard isn't coming until summer on a free from Adam Cook. Let's sign Tarkowski's wife then. Bowen is a Trojan. Fresh Vera saying Yarmolenko's heat map is all green. It is. Yarmo's heat map, and they're laughing out loud. Yarmo's so hot, he's cold. What's happening with Zuma and Soucek? So we believe that Zuma is going to be out not through his injury, but through COVID, and that Soucek could be back, but I don't know how he could be back because it depends on what rules the club are following. So Moyes has said in his press conference that we expect one or the other in terms of Soucek and Mark Noble to be back. But what we're hearing is that Mark Noble's picked up an injury, so he could be out for up to a month. So the only player he's talking about there is Tommy Soucek. But I don't know if Tommy Soucek is going to be back because I believe the isolation period would rule him out. But I don't know why David Moyes would say that. It's all smoke and mirrors. I have no bloody idea. Unless Tommy Soucek tested positive after the Leeds game, then that would probably let him be out for the Sunday as well. I don't know. It's an interesting one. Everyone's laughing at the Yarmolenko's heat map. Lingard is sitting tight, waiting to see Newcastle stay up. Then he'll go on there for 200k a week. If they go down, he'll suddenly love West Ham again. I mean, look at that, Yarmolenko. I mean, I think that little dot up the top there is when he came on the other day as a substitute. And that's probably why that's got quite a warm colour, because he comes on over at the top there. And then the whistle is blown. That's harsh, isn't it? Really, it's harsh. Zuma was featured. Interesting. Okay, so we've had more news now coming in. So Zuma was featured. Apparently, Zuma was featured heavily in a training session, hugging everyone. And was that today? Right. So his press conference is all a bit wonky then. Is he playing? Is he having smoke and mirrors? Is this what's going on? I'm hearing this in the background. Sorry, I'm having a conversation with the background guy. I think the background guy's coming on. I think he has to come on. I mean, they've thrown me under the bus here now.
Yeah, no, it's on Twitter. It's on Twitter. There's a video of him. I literally just commented it. The club released it. When was it? Let me find it. The club literally released it about an hour ago. It was on about an hour ago. Where is it? Because I commented on it. It was a really good video. Go and check it out. It was. I
can see it now.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, David Moyes' arm around him, cuddling. He's cuddling. He's cuddling Lanzini. He's cuddling Masuaku. If he's got COVID, we're all fucked for the weekend. If that's the case. I don't think he's got COVID. I think he's fully recovered.
Right, so this is what now it's things are getting explained. Depends on how you read and determine what David Moyes is saying. Zuma's on his way back. He's just started back training. He's doing quite well. He's another player, unfortunately, who had the virus. The virus is the key word. So he's back, but it's just whether or not we play him.
I think he's talking about. I think no. I think he's talking about one of. But by the looks of the video, it looks like he's just turned up today for full training because, like, he's sitting. He's like Moyes comes up to him and gives him a massive hug, and everyone does like, "Oh, I haven't seen you for ages." Right, there's Sebastian Haller's heat map.
That's not as bad. Is this for Ajax?
This is this season for Ajax, yeah.
Right. The part I'm intrigued about is the West Ham one for him, but I'm asking you for a lot more information there, aren't I? I'm sending him on the West Ham heat map of Sebastian Haller. Alfie Zuma is in the training session. There you go. Yarma's heat map will be red hot on the bench. Look at the West Ham Insta. Yep, we've got it now. I bet Fab's heat map is better than Yarma. It shows Zuma is back. There you go. That's great news. Zuma is back, which is massive for us. Does Bowyer think about going to Liverpool in the summertime? That's what I've heard. Bowyer? Who's he talking about? Bowen. Sorry. Yeah, I'm thinking. Sorry, the whole Zuma thing is completely thrown me. And do you know what? Maybe that's my interpretation.
Yeah, I think he's talking about. I think he's talking about Noble and Soucek.
Yeah,
that's the trouble. You can't get sometimes. You can't necessarily get like the sentiment.
He says Kurt's on his way back, doing well in training, and he is another who's gone down with the virus.
Yeah.
But the key word is had the virus.
But you're right. We've had Soucek, and we hope to get one of them back.
Yep.
That's what I think.
Trev Chubb is saying Zuma hugging everyone, taking out the whole team. He has to be COVID clear.
Exactly.
Yes, we believe he is. He is. Yeah, sorry, completely thrown on today's show, but that's the part and parcel of what happens when you do these things live. Russ, Tarkowski, you don't think we're going to get him, do you?
No. I don't think we're going to get him. I can't see Burnley effing up their up front and effing up their backs.
But the do you not think they effed up anyway? They obviously had no choice in the matter by getting rid of him.
Yes, that's why I think that. I think he had the what's the name? He had the minimum, like it was 25 million, wasn't it? Something like that. He had that was his minimum release clause. So he had that. So they knew that was there. I think Tarkowski had one, but it was just so high. So yeah, I mean you can't really do anything about that. So because he's done that, I can't see it happening the other way now.
I've seen that Burnley put a statement out by saying something along the lines of, wish them all the best. Now Burnley are seeking out something like a new style of football. And I think that their player that they brought in, the lad up top, who's I can't remember his name, looks like a really good player. And that's the kind of style of player that they're looking to do, which maybe pushes them away from their traditional forward thing. But you can't deny, though, Chris Wood is the player that probably kept them up. I know they didn't concede a lot of goals under their defence, but scoring 10 plus consecutive goals in 5 consecutive Premier League seasons is huge. I just wouldn't be surprised if you saw West Ham tempting them, trying to see if they tempted him, because if he leaves in the summer for nothing,
maybe, but I mean they've still got a chance of staying up, and if it was 8 million quid, 10 million quid. They'll get a lot more staying up. It's a risk, isn't it, taking it? But they'll lose it, leaving it in the summer. It's the same as people like Origi and stuff. I mean, there's so many players who are available on a free transfer in the summer. A lot of our targets, are available in the free summer. So yesterday we talked about Boubacar Kamara from Marseille, who's 22. Defensive midfield, a bit like very similar to Deck actually. He's 22. He's captain Marseille. He started off as a centre back, moved into a defensive midfield role. He's available in the summer, and apparently we're very much in there to get him in the summer. Now, obviously, you could put a cheeky, if you've already signed a pre-season, you could put a cheeky 10 million quid in and say you can have the 10 million quid Marseille, or we can give it to him in the 1st of July. So it's one of those things. That's Haller's 2018-19 heat map at West Ham.
There you go. I mean, that's what are you going to say?
As I say, it's not as bad as people think.
It's not as bad as people think, but when you compare it to what Antonio's doing.
Yeah, I mean, it's not it's not the same company, but it actually is the 2018-19. So, he sort of drifted around that sort of central midfield, like basically dropping most of that is probably
dropping off his position. Yeah, centrally dropping off and then going into the box. But that style of striker doesn't suit our style of play. And that's why when you bring that up and you look back, let me just bring
that one.
Have you got what one?
No, I do, go on.
You do. So you've got Antonio, but I think the key element here to add to it is you add Fornals, Lanzini, Declan Rice, Bowen. They're all, Soucek, apart from Bowen, they're all reasonably similar to what Antonio's doing, but all over the park. And that is the thing. That's the issue. And this is probably, West Ham of old under Sam Allardyce. I think as Sam Allardyce came into the club, he brought this whole kind of looking at the numbers behind the game into, looking at, how far people run, how far people do this, because he was very into the stats of the game.
Yeah.
And obviously a lot more. I don't want to bring Sam Allardyce into this equation, but he did. There's no ifs or buts about it. He was the one that brought it to West Ham. Moyes has obviously got that down to a T, and he must look at things like heat maps and think, right, this is what I need. You know, when I look at a heat map of a player, and I know you've done the one on Barbosa, and that's why you could see why West Ham would potentially be interested, because he does a lot of the work rate outside the box, let alone inside the box. Then that is maybe why we're a kind of player West Ham could be interested in. So, yeah, I kind of like that. Cabral the same as well. So
it's a different way of looking at it, really, as well. Because I mean,
yeah.
there's some you can't say. Hosek, I can't get anything on Hosek because obviously they don't cover the Czech league. It seems in as much detail. But I mean, it's another. From now on, when we start being people like. I mean, I was going to do a bit more maybe this weekend and look at people like, we've been linked with a lot of midfielders as well, like Golovin from Monaco and a few others, and just like to see how their heat map compares to a Soucek, to a Declan Rice, because are we going to get, is this guy coming for a like for like, or is this person coming in to offer something different? So and actually, what would be interesting as well is looking at someone like. Maybe looking at someone like Ben Ram or someone whose game's changed quite a lot. I'd like to have a look at Fornals over the last sort of couple of years, because he started off as one type of player and he's transitioned into very much a box-to-box type player now. So, and again, it's another way of looking at it that we bring to you at the West Ham Network.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Like it. Love it. I think if Burnley let Tarkowski go, it would be for an overinflated price, because it would definitely dent their survival odds. Big Sam, the stat merchant, Gaza saying Football Insider said Bowen wants to join Liverpool. How do they know? I don't think they do. I think it's just made up.
It's put two and two together, isn't it? It's put two and two together, and Liverpool, he's settled, and I can't see him moving. And if he does, we'll just get Danny on him. Danny Dye, get the father-in-law in.
Get the father-in-law and get them sorted. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I don't think if you're someone like Jarrod Bowen, you don't leave a club like West Ham right now, especially in the form that you're in, especially in the position that West Ham are in as well.
Yeah, I mean, you look at everyone else. I mean, he's too early in his development, I'd say. In the last year, he's really sort of got, he's kicked on from 12 months ago to now, and. If you went to someone like Liverpool, if you went to someone like, I mean, Liverpool's the only one they're really talking about, really. But he's going to be playing third fiddle to Mane and Salah. And he is. I mean, unless Salah goes. If Salah goes in the summer, which they're talking about maybe, then there's a spot opened up for him. But then it's maybe him or Jota. And then it's like, well, then he's guaranteed, he's a guaranteed starter at West Ham.
Yeah. Absolutely. Last comment, pick a form player and link them with Liverpool United. Brings thousands to visits to news sites. All bollocks.
Exactly. Absolutely. And happy birthday to Declan Rice. It's his birthday.
Yes, happy birthday to Declan today. 23
I'm sure he's watching.
Hey, you never know. You never know.
Never know.
Right, okay, that brings an end to our David Moyes press conference. Zuma is back in training. He has had COVID, but he is not out, but I don't think he'll be available for the game. Tommy Soucek had COVID or has COVID, and depending on the rules that the club are following is whether or not he will be available for the game against Leeds. And we're led to believe that Mark Noble has picked up a bit of a knock. But we just don't know how long for. But he did state in his press conference that one or the other could be back, but it could be a little bit of smoke and mirrors. Are you looking at a video to see if you can see any players in the background, Russ?
No, I'm just thinking because the change, because yesterday, wasn't it? They changed the isolation, didn't they? The isolation
5
rules.
days.
The 5 days in England.
But Soucek was missing for the Norwich game. And this is the part that I was really intrigued about. I was led to believe that if you had tested positive when the rules were 7 days, you had to follow the 7 days.
Quite possibly.
But I wouldn't be surprised if there's ways around that.
No,
and that's probably why they're saying something about Tommy Soucek. So we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, if you are new around here, make sure you do go and subscribe to the channel. Please make sure you do hit the thumbs up. Please make sure you do look at the membership if you are interested in becoming a member of the channel. Check out all the shows we've got. We've got loads coming up. We've got loads in the past, all the back catalogue, all the My Hammers 11s that DJ Rossi B does. This week we've had Matt Jarvis on randomly for a lunchtime live talking about the Norwich game. What have we got coming up? this week. We've got the preview tomorrow night, 9 p.m.
Preview tomorrow. Watch along on Sunday.
On Sunday, and then just kind of
West Ham Weekly on Monday. We're hopefully getting Governor B on next week to talk about all things West Ham, and obviously the single. It was on Good Morning Britain yesterday. We got bumped to Good Morning Britain, basically. So
yeah. That's it. That's what you do. That's what you do. Anyway, thanks for joining us. Stay safe, everyone, and keep following West Ham loud and proud. Come on, you Irons! And as we always do, Russ, as we always do. But I need to go and find it. We say thank you very much to our beautiful. Oh, we don't. Where is it? There it is. There. Members who have joined us. So thank you very much for joining us. Stay safe. Come on, you Irons.
It's like a family tree.